بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة الأبدية على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. السلام عليكم my beloved sons and daughters ورحمة الله وبركاته. Inshallah, we are going to take a new section of Q&A session, which is at the end of the Manasik al-Hajj of Sayyidi Sistani Damadallah, and that is the final obligation of Mina. So we said after performing the Tawaf of Hajj, Salat Tawaf of Hajj, Sa'i between Safa and Marwa, Tawaf al-Nisa, Salat Tawaf al-Nisa. So two obligations are left. Staying in Mina for 2 nights, 2 evenings, eve of 11th, eve of 12th. That means when the day of 10th ends, that night, which is eve of 11th, you need to stay there. And when the day of 11th ends, you need to stay there eve of 12th. And there are some cases where you may need to stay the eve of 13 as well. But they are rare cases. But main thing is that these 2 nights are essential and common between all the fuqaha. So that's one wajib left. Another wajib Q&A session left is for about the pelting of the 3 stones: small, medium, large, small, medium, large. So let's see the ruling questions and answers about the uh, about the staying in Mina. But before we start, just a quick reminder so that after a long time we are coming back to Mina. Let me just remind you the borders of Mina, the limits of Mina, because when we speak about the limits of Mina, borders of Mina, because eve of 11th and eve of 12th, when you're going to spend in Mina, it needs to be in the border of Mina, not out of the border of Mina. So that is most important thing. So so basically, eve of 11th and eve of 12th in the border of Mina, spending night in the border of Mina. So let's just remind you with those images of border of Mina. Yes, if you recall this map, we had mentioned previously. Let me enlarge it. So this was like Muzdalifah, people leaving towards Mina. You see, Mina is long. There are mountains here and there are mountains here. So it's a valley. Mina, Muzdalifah, these are all valleys. Okay. So this is a valley. And then you continue. It looks like a river, but it shows that this area is Mina, and this is not part of Mina. These are mountains. See, Jibal. There's a thin chain of mountain here. After that, there is Makkah. So Makkah stretch. I'm going to show you another image, but this is just a crooked image to show you Arafat, the Muzdalifah Valley, and then this is Wadi Muhassir, which is the border, if you recall. I'm going to show you Wadi Muhassir. And then there's this Masjid al-Khif, Bimina, and then you have small pillar of Shaitan, medium pillar of Shaitan, and large pillar of Makkah is just on the border of Makkah. So that is Makkah and Mina. That's the line. So make sure that when you are staying in Mina, you are not crossing Jamratul Aqaba, the big pillar of Shaitan. You are in this range. So here it's clear. Here it's in the border of Muzdalifah, and I told you Muzdalifah has overlapped Mina. So some of the Muzdalifah has come inside Mina. So that's why one should be careful to see the signs of Mina if they don't have tent. Even tents, some of the tents you will see, oh my goodness, half of the tent is in Mina, half of the tent is in Muzdalifah. You see, out of the border of Mina. So sometimes because of the crowd, they have to just stretch along. Now this shows you the mountain. You see this chain of mountain on the right hand side of Mina, and this is the chain of mountain in the left side of Mina. So Mina is a valley. See this Mina? There's a chain of mountain, and this is Makkah. Makkah is all stretched all the way. It's stretched, you see. So this border of Makkah, this is where the big pillar of Shaitan is. Just this side. And this is all Makkah. So there are people that are staying in this is very important. There are people that are staying in hotels in this area. It's called Aziziyah. Okay? This is called Aziziyah. It's part of Makkah. So if you are in Aziziyah hotel, what people they do? They go in the morning because the obligation is to stay at night. So they just cross the tunnel and they're in Mina. Okay, it's like maybe half an hour, 20 minutes. It depends on the crowd and all those. So they leave the hotel like 4 p.m. and Maghrib is like 5 p.m., 6 p.m. So they come before Maghrib a bit, 15 minutes, and they enter Mina. Some are living here in this side of Jamrat al-Aqaba. So they come inside from this side. So basically, how much a person should stay in Mina. The obligation is 1/2 of the night. So if the night and the definition of night, there's a big argument among some of the fuqaha. But in general, the night in this scenario is not till sunrise. Sunset till Fajr, dawn. That's the night. After Fajr, Sayyid al-Khu'i Quddasa Sirruh, in other rules, he used to consider sunset, sunrise is the night. But in this case of Mina, there's no record clear about Sayyid al-Khu'i. Is it sunrise or is it dawn? All the other maraja, many of the maraja, like Sayyid Sistani Damadullah, he considers night from sunset till dawn, Fajr. So midnight is the middle of that part. Sayyid al-Khu'i, sunset, sunrise. That's the night. So middle is the middle part of this. So let's say hypothetically, sunset 6 p.m., sunrise is 6 a.m. So middle of that 12 p.m. sharp is the midnight. But those who say 4 a.m. is Fajr is the end of night. For them, the night is 10 hours, not 12 hours. So the nights are shorter, each half of the night. You see, shorter than the night of Sayyid al-Khu'i. However, Sayyid al-Khu'i Quddasa Sirruh, his favorite student, Sheikh al-Fayyad, may Allah extend his life. You see, he was someone who Sayyid al-Khu'i nurtured him, upraised him. They call it Rabibus Sayyid al-Khu'i. So Sayyid al-Khu'i, like kind of adopted by Sayyid al-Khu'i. So he spent too much time with Sayyid al-Khu'i, Sheikh al-Fayyad. So Sheikh al-Fayyad, he says that yes, Sayyid al-Khu'i has sunset, sunrise. Okay? But in the case of Manasik al-Hajj, those who still follow Sayyid al-Khu'i, they need to observe sunset till Fajr. In this Mina, staying in Mina, okay? So you can leave after Fajr. But if it was not for Sheikh al-Fayyad, you should leave after sunrise. But here, like any other maraja, you can leave Makkah because you spend the night. From sunset you're there till Fajr. Khalas, after you pray Fajr, you can leave Makkah. But remember, you have pelting the 3 stones. So you move towards this area of Jamarat. You pelt the stones after sunrise. Pelting the stone needs to be after sunrise, not after Fajr. So you pray Fajr in the tent and move towards this. Sunrise happens, pelt the stones, and then come back to Makkah. There is also taxis and everything, so you can easily, there's a tunnel here as well. So there are like several tunnels. They bring you in Makkah. Okay, so the wajib is to spend night in Mina. And we said either first half of the night, you have an option, either second. Obviously, you can stay the whole night. You're the guest of Allah there. But if you are too much annoyed in sleeping in tents and the tents are overcrowded and whatsoever reasons, okay, and you are disturbed from the snoring of your neighbors or whatever gases or whatever things, but you are disturbed and you can't sleep in that overcrowded, people have eaten like garlics and whatever things, so maybe you might be, but that's jihad fi sabilillah. Anyhow, so so he said, no, I'll just stay awake outside of the tent, sit and chat first midnight, and then after midnight is passed, I'll go Makkah. I'll just cross this tunnel and just get into Makkah and get into my hotel. So you don't have to stay the whole night, either first night, second night. A few technical things the Hujjaj they do. Remember, Mina, you have 3 stones to pelt, 3 pillars. So what normally happens, these are the engineering of the mindset of Hujjaj. Those who finished Makkah the day of Eid, I mean Amal of Mina the day of Eid, they go Makkah. They're tired, exhausted, they sleep. Either their hotels are here, wherever they are, regardless. So they go Makkah. So they come when? They come to Mina before the second half of the night, because you can't miss that. Otherwise, you'll have to pay penalty, a goat. And you don't say, I'll stay in Makkah and let me pay. No, then you'll be committing haram as well. And you're guest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At least respect that hospitality. Okay? So what happens here? That this is the first mechanism, engineering of the mindset of Hajjaj. Okay? They say, we need to do 2 things. Stay 1 half of the night, pelt the shaitan. Let's say 3 stones. So let's go to Mina before what? Before the one, like before the second half of the midnight. Like say midnight, for example, midnight is not 12 o'clock. You have to calculate. Let's say midnight was 11 o'clock, 11 p.m. Based on the sunrise. Okay, so I need to be there like before that time, and the crowd and the taxi and all those kind of things. But if you are in taxi and you entered Mina, but the crowd was too heavy, taxi rush, okay, you are in Mina, you can make the intention in the taxi. You don't have to come to your tent. So anyhow, and walking is best. Just cross the tunnel from here or get inside the Jamrat al-Aqaba and you are in Mina, not to take a chance that the taxi goes all the way in Mina or whatever. And nowadays, it's only the ring roads. They drop you on the ring roads and you are in Mina. So there are these crossroads. They are all in, they stop the taxi here, you get down and you are in Mina. These are over bridges, like, yeah, flyovers. So first mechanism, people, they come in Mina for the second half of the night. They stay in Mina. They pray Salat al-Fajr. They go towards Jamarat. They wait until sun rises. They pelt the 3 stones and they come back to Makkah. They are free for that day, the whole day. So they can do their A'mal of Makkah if they have not done it on the day of Eid. They can do A'mal of Makkah. They can relax. They can sleep. They can do shopping. They can do whatever. They're free. Okay. What do? Again, they go to the midnight, before midnight. Before midnight. They go there. They sleep the second half of the night. And they pelt the shaitan. And they come back to Makkah. This is on the 12th. But remember, on 12th, you have to, you can't evacuate Mina before Dhuhr time. So leave some of your belongings, whatever you have. Come back after Dhuhr to pick it up. Okay? Come back after Dhuhr to pick those belongings up. So what these people, they do, after Salat al-Fajr, they come to Makkah. Whenever on 12th day, they come in Mina after Dhuhr, before Dhuhr, they pelt the stones, three pillars, and they come back to Mina. So I will summarize this and I'll give you the next scenario. This scenario are for the people who stay second night. They come before half an hour as a precautionary measure, enter Mina, they stay there, and they wait until the morning, they pelt the stone, and they leave Makkah. Okay? They leave to Makkah. And then they come back again, second half night, and they stay there second half night. Some of them, they leave Makkah to come back to Mina. So they pelt the Satan on the 12th and evacuate after Dhuhr. After Dhuhr, the evacuation is must, okay? So 12th day. So they are done with Mina totally. They can't make the intention of evacuation in the Fajr time. No, they have to come back to Mina. Before Dhuhr or after Dhuhr. The thing is that after Dhuhr, you need to evacuate, not before Dhuhr. But they come before Dhuhr, after Dhuhr, they pelt the three pillars, and after Dhuhr, they leave back to Makkah. Now, this is the scenario. The same people who stay the second half night, they say, no, why to go Makkah and come back? Just stay in Mina until Dhuhr. It's like 5 o'clock, 5-6 hours. Just stay in Mina, chat with your brothers, okay? Do whatever. And then once the Dhuhr happens, come here this side, pelt the stones, and just exit to Makkah, okay? And you are in Makkah, so you're done with Mina. This is the second half nighters. What about those who stay first half night? How is their mechanism? So these people, the day of Eid, they're exhausted, tired. They are in Makkah now. They come before the sunset of the day of Eid. They enter Mina. After midnight, they come where? Back to Makkah. But they have not pelted the stone. Yes, pelting the stone is 11th day after sunrise. 11th day. So they are in midnight. They go in Makkah. So what do they do next day? Are they going to come after sunrise? Yes, but when? This day of 11th, where they need to pelt the stone, they come 2 hours before Maghrib in Mina as a precautionary measure. They can come 1 hour. It's empty. The Jamarat area is empty, almost empty. Now remember, these are who? The first midnighters. So 10th day, they just sleep and they go after midnight. The first half night they stay. Next day, when do they come back? Before Maghrib, because your pelting of the stone time is from sunrise to sunset. After sunset, you cannot pelt the stone unless you had some excuses. Okay, but then this time there's no excuse. It's empty, almost empty. So what they do, they go Makkah after they do their first midnight. Okay, first half of the night. They come in Makkah. They sleep, they relax, they go to Haram the whole day there. Sunset, we said it's 6 p.m. for example. They come 4 p.m. inside. They come from this side. They pelt the stone. They are in Mina. Khalas. But they pelted the stone before sunrise. So they can come 5 o'clock. Okay, they can come 5:30 before Maghrib. But don't keep it too tight. Don't keep it too tight. Just enter Mina. Okay, 4 p.m., 5 p.m. Pelt the stone before sunset. And then you are in Mina. So when the sun set, you are in your tent. You want to sleep, you want to chat, you want to sit with your bros, this and that, until midnight. After midnight, you leave. So what did you do here? You pelted the 3 stones of day of 11th. You slept or stayed in Mina eve of 12th. Eve of 12th. Okay? And you left Makkah. So what is left now? Pelting the stone of the 12th. Now, if it gets confused, you rewind and start writing it down and make your plan. So I'm giving you 2 plans the Hajjaj they do. So the second one is the first midnighters. 10th Hajj, what happened? They stayed in Mina at first midnight because they already did the pelting of the Eid day in the morning. So there's no pelting on the 10th. 10th, they are done in the morning. The first pillar of Shaitan, the big one. So they are here just to spend night. After midnight, they go Makkah. They go to Haram, they go to hotel, they go to shopping, whatever they want to do. They stay in Makkah until the next day before Maghrib. They come, they pelt the Shaitan stones, the pillars of the Shaitan. Small, medium, large. Then they enter Makkah. They enter go towards their tents to relax until midnight. This is eve of 12th. They go back to Makkah. Now, when should they evacuate Mina? After Dhuhr. So they come after Dhuhr anytime. They pelt the stones and they make the intention of evacuation Mina. Okay, done. These first nighters are more relaxed. Why? Because it is done in a perfect calculation. First midnight, 10th of Dhul Hajj, eve of 11th, they stayed. On the next day, before 2 hours of Maghrib, they will pelt the Shaitan. The Maghrib, they are in Mina already. First half of the night, they go Makkah. They come next day. They can come anytime, but it has to be before sunset. They pelt the Shaitan after midnight, after Dhuhr, midday. They pelt the Shaitan anytime, but before sunset. And they're done. However, if they do not evacuate Mina and the sun sets and they are in Mina on the 12th day, then they have to stay the night in Mina, eve of 13th, and pelt the 3 stones. So don't make it too close to Maghrib, 12th. Just come anytime after Dhuhr, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. However, just let there be in your knowledge, our Sunni fellows, they pelt after Dhuhr, majority of them. Though they have some exemptions, some scholars, they have exempted them to stone in the daytime, but they start after Dhuhr. So if you come after Dhuhr, you're entering the war zone. Okay? Crowd. So just come like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock p.m., pelt the 3 stones, and make the intention of evacuation. So this is what we mentioned about Mina, and you can see the the mountain. This is the border of Mina. It starts from Wadi Muhassir, the valley of Muhassir. Okay, and you can see this mountain chain. Now this white is tents in Mina. You see Mina, I told you it's a valley. So it starts all the way from here till Muzdalifah. This is all mountains. So this is part of Mina, stretched here. Why? Because the narration has limited Mina between 2 valleys. It's in between 2 mountains. It's a valley. So this little bit part, there's no mountains. So it is the mountains are here. And this is, as we mentioned, Muzdalifah. Okay, this line. So, and then you also have this type. This is where the mountain dividing Mina and Makkah. So there are tunnels. You see, this is a tunnel. It goes inside and disappears and comes outside. And this is a flyover. And there's another tunnel, they call it a tunnel of the walkers. They walk there. So anyhow, you can see that there's one route here and one route here, and this is small chain of mountain, but still it's part of the mountain between Makkah and Mina. So this is all Makkah. So, and this is called Azizia. So there are hotels here and apartments for the people living here. So they can easily come to Mina and exit Mina. You know, the first nighters, those people who stay first night, they come in Mina, they come back because they don't pelt stone after midnight. So what happened? They go to the haram, and after haram they come here. This is the big pillar of shaitan, border of Makkah. You see this white sheltered area? So they pelt the stones, small, medium, large, and they go back to Makkah on the 12th or on the 11th. 11th, they pelt and they come to Mina. These are the first midnighters. And I think first midnighters are more, their times are more engineered properly. They're using the Shar'i ranges of pelting the stones from sunrise till sunset. Sunset, and I have to stay one night, one half of the night. So I'll pelt my stones before the sunset, like half an hour, 1 hour, and then I'll enter Mina, stay first midnight, and then I'm relaxed until next day before the sunset. You see? So these are some technicalities. You may mix match. You may stay one night, first night, second night, other night. You may do opposite, whatever you want. It is totally up to you. But evacuation needs to be after the Dhuhr, 12th of Dhul Hajj, before Maghrib. If you stay there and you have not evacuated, you're still in your tents and everything, then you have to stay the eve of 13. And why I say like people, they just want to get rid now. Uh, now it for those who have not been in Hajj, it sounds like, oh, why people there like they just want to get rid of this wajibat. Why have one half night? Just stay the whole night. One, Baba, when you go for Hajj, then raise your spiritual aspects. Okay, at this time we have seen how Hajjaj, they get exhausted. They are this era is this era of Hajj, spoiled Hajjis. This lavish life, this air-conditioned life, and these cars and legs. When they come there and they have to spend one night in tent, okay, and into some of those restrooms which you don't want to be there, and so once you are there, then give us your opinion. Then, mashallah, you will be really hyperbolic, irfani, spiritualistic person. No, I just want to stay the whole night in Mina. I'm the guest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Bismillah. That's nice. But if you have an option to choose either one half of the night, and I know so many people, they suffer those nights, but it's jihad, it's the thawab. You see, it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to see you that you are my guest, and Mina is my dining area where I provide you meat and flesh. How do you like my hospitality? So God, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is most merciful. Okay, you don't want to spend night with me the whole night? Khalas, get lost. Take half of the night and go back to Makkah. That's also my place. So no problem. But you can't tolerate, just go. So this is the thing that it's an option to stay either first half of the night and second half. So remember Wadi Muhassar, you see? So, and this one was also, see this Mina, all tent starts, okay? And these are the highways where the taxi will bring you from Makkah, either from this side, either from this side, and drop you here in one of the areas. Then there's a staircase. You can come down through the staircase. So you are in Mina, even if you are in the taxi here and see this crowd. Khalas, you are in Mina. You don't have to worry about not being in Mina. But make sure that the guy does not take you all the way out of the Mina. So it's better to get out of the taxi and just walk till this area, because once the traffic runs smooth, the guy will not wait for you. They will drop you all the way out of Wadi Muhassir, as it happened many times to many people. And you say Muhassir Valley. The reason I'm saying you Muhassir Valley, okay, because there are rulings. They are going to talk about Muhassir Valley, whether it is sufficient to stay in Muhassir Valley or not. So these are mountains of Mina. Okay, see this mountain area, and this is like a part of Muzdalifah, as I said, but it has been overlapped with Mina. So this is the chain of mountain of Muhassir, Wadi Muhassir, Valley of Muhassir. Yeah. So this is the border between Muzdalifah and Mina. This is the Muhassir area, Valley of Muhassir. We did this all on previous session. I'm just refreshing your mind to, yeah, we did all this. Okay. So let's go back to the ruling number 1, question 1. So question 1, Hudud Mina, the border of Mina, lengthwise, as it has been narrated, okay, in the narrations, in the hadith, Wadi Muhassir, Valley of Muhassir from one side, which is between Muzdalifah and Mina, and the other side is what? The bigger, the Jamratul Kubra, the big pillar of Shaitan. And from the breadth-wise, like broader, it has not been mentioned in the narrations. So the narration mentioned the length border from Muzdalifah, Wadi Muhassir till Jamrat al-Aqaba. After Jamrat al-Aqaba is Makkah, the big pillar of Shaitan. So he says this is, but the side border is not mentioned in the narrations. So can we refer to the experts to define the border of Mina, who are expert in ancient borders and ancient historical borders of Mina? Okay, so these are expert. So he says, yes, you can take the words of the experts, okay, which they have taken it from the ancestors through ancestors. You see, they have been transmitting the information. So Hajj has been more than 1,000 years. They have been doing Hajj, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam guided them. So they're following the guidance of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So year after year, they receive this information. Like for me, my teachers, they told me, their teachers, they told him. So as I told you before, that when we went for Hajj, okay, so our tent, we saw just on the top of the tent sign of border of Mina. So our teacher, like some of our youth, mashallah, it was caravan packed with youth. It was a very funny caravan. So the youth were in this side. They thought that it's relaxed area and everybody, and they took the spots. And here it was like crowded. So my teacher comes, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him and protect him and extend his life. He says, "What are you guys doing there? I told you guys not to sleep there, not to stay there." They said, "We saw this the only empty area. So let's take it, relax." I said, "No, this is border of Mina. Get on this side, otherwise you will not have stayed in Mina." So all they have to move here and became overcrowded. Okay, so that was empty area. You can't stay in one tent. The border was there. So some of the youth said, "Can we just go and sit outside?" Bismillah, let's go. That I was just a beginner Hausa student, so I was like with the youth also. So we went outside and we sat and talked until it was first midnight done, and then we went to Mecca. So therefore, be careful about the border. So that's why, okay, we know what Muzdalifah side, we know Jamrat al-Aqaba, it's narrated. What about the side? What about the side from Mecca and this? So Ahl al-Khibra, they have pinpointed the mountains. It's a valley, okay? starts from Valley Muhassir, from Muzdalifah, edge of Muzdalifah, and goes all the way till Makkah. Then it's open Makkah area. So Mina is a valley. That's according to Ahl al-Khibra. So now, Sayyidina, so if these borders of side mountains which are bordering Mina, can we just spend night there? He said no. So he says the mountain, the beginning of the mountains, the skirts of the mountain. Let's consider them skirts of the mountain. See, mountain skirts. So down they have skirts, and then there's a plain area. So he said that, can we just stay on the skirts of the mountain? Is this part of the Mina? Because some of the tents are installed on the skirts, the height 150 meters. Okay, high, not 1 meter, like 150-meter high. So 150-meter height is a good chunk of height, you see. Like this room is about 3 meters, let's say. 3 meters is the height of one floor. So you are looking at 50 floors, a 50-floor building height. Not 50. Yeah, 3 5s is 15. Correct. 50 floors. Okay. Let's say your hall was 5 meters. Then you're talking about 30-floor building. So that high, it's like a mountain. It's not like skirt of the mountain. Okay. Maybe the mountains are very lofty, so their skirts are higher. Like, like there's a plateau type. So mountain, then plateau, then mountain, then. So these are like a lower layers, plateaus of the mountain. So say the Sistan says, Safhul Jabal, the skirts of the mountain are not from Mina. So get down, leave your tents. Okay. So what, question number 3 is a follow-up question. What if the skirts are 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 um, cut? I don't know the exact word they say. Are they are flattened, like these skirts, they flatten. So what was high now is become leveled. So what if they level these skirts down to the ground area? That means they chop off the mountains. Those skirts, they are chopped off and wider space is made. So can we stay on the place which was before part of the skirts and they've been chopped off and now they're flat? So, and they've become part of the valley. Okay. So it says some of the parts of the skirts have been carved out, chopped out, carved out. Okay. Some of the parts of the mountain. Okay. Which are bordering Mina, in a way that the carved area, the scooped area, carved area, the demolished area of those mountains is in breadth of 70 meters, the broader 70 meters, more than so the Mina has become more broader 70 meters than which was before, because of the carving out of the mountain. So they carved out the mountain, so more area has now become in Mina. So is it permissible to be there? He said, apparently, if it has become part of the valley of Mina, that's it, man. You need to be in the valley of Mina, on the ground, not on the tops. So top is not the top is not considered valley. Valley is down. So he said, if they chop off the mountains, they carve off the mountains, okay, in a way that the valley becomes wider, permissible, no problem. Yes. He says, apparently, if that happens, then the valley, then it is part of a valley, the valley, and hence it is permissible to spend the night there. Hmm. Question number 4. So now we carve down. What about the bridges which are made like flyovers? Okay. Remember I said when your taxi is up, you're in Mina. Okay. So let's see what the Sayyidi Sistani says, that with you in taxi on a flyover, will it be considered, or you have to get out and before Maghrib you have to just find the staircase and come down? Yes. So the question is, the flyovers. Remember, I showed you in the image. There is a flyover. There's a bus, taxi, all of them. They are not allowed to come into Mina, so they just go on flyovers. They're above Mina, above the valley. So he said that the flyovers which have been installed on the mountain, over like the mountains, okay, in a way that the flyover goes over Mina. So flyovers over Mina connecting the two mountains on the sides. And these mountains are like the borders of Mina. So is it permissible to spend night there? So if not, if it is not like that, okay, بحيث يجوز المبيت عليها. وإذا لم تكن كذلك, if we cannot stay in that area, okay. The question is a bit strange. وإذا لم تكن كذلك. So if you're not able to, if you're not able to sleep over or spend time on the bridge at that night, okay, spend the night on the bridge. So if it was not permissible, okay, okay. So now it's clear. The question is intertwined. So basically, some of the toilets are on those areas, okay, on those bridge areas. So the question asks that, can we stay on the flyovers, the upper, and if not, then we are staying in Mina. I'm down, but the restrooms are on the flyover area, top. Can I go there only for the restroom purpose? So the answer is, Mina is a name of a valley. Mina is name of valley, not the mountains. Therefore, if the mountain was over the valley, connecting two mountains, just over the valley, then it is sufficient to stay on those flyovers. Okay? Otherwise, not. So let's say the flyover was not over Mina. The flyover was connecting two mountains which are borders of Mina. Then he says you cannot. But if the flyover was connecting the two sides of Mina, where you are over the valley, then it is permissible to stay. And he said there's no problem if somebody stays in Mina on the ground to go to these toilets, even if they're out of the border of Mina, or any other necessities. Just quickly come back after he's done. It quickly comes back. Question number 5. Since 2 years, uh, the Iraqi Hajj are imposed to stay in the Valley of Fire. Oh my goodness. Why Valley of Fire? What did Iraqis do for you? Okay, so since several years, because they dedicate areas for certain countries or certain Hajj of the countries. So for several years past, they say that the Iraqi Hujjaj are imposed to stay in a valley of fire, in the valley of fire, which is away from Mina, valley of Mina, 1 kilometer. And between them, there are two chains of mountain. Okay, there is a tunnel passing by, long tunnel, so that the walkers can come towards the main Mina area. So let's get the picture done. So this is valley of Mina. Okay, after this valley, after 1 kilometer, there is another valley. So there's remember, Mina is surrounded by mountains. So after this, because this side of the mountain, left hand side, it's Makkah. So like when I'm telling you this, Makkah is up, Muzdalifah is down, Arafat is further down. So now this mountain, Makkah is here. This mountain we saw in the map, there's chain of mountain. So after 1 kilometer of this mountain, there's a valley which is called Valley of Fire. They connected the Valley of Fire with this Valley of Mina through a tunnel, going through this long tunnel, going through this mountain. For the walkers, it's a walkway. So can people, they stay in the Valley of Fire? He says it appears that Valley of Fire is not part of Mina. The way you described, it's out of the chain mountains. Okay, two chains of mountain. That means there's a long tunnel passing through these two. So this is Mina, one chain of mountain. There's another chain of mountain, and then there's this Valley of Fire, and there's a long tunnel. So he says it appears that the Valley of Fire is not part of Mina. So whoever is able to come to Mina and stay there, uh, they must do that. But if it was too crowded, it doesn't reach that now, especially nowadays, the amount of Hujjaj are lesser. But let's say like one of those days where the Hujjaj would come limitless, okay? Mina would be overcrowded. You will not find a spot you can even sit. Nowadays you can find, you can find any footpath, just sit there. You don't have to be under the tent at night. There's no sun, nothing. And you have to spend one half of the night. Find any footpath, okay? Become like a desperate refugee or beggar or something like that. People might be giving you some money also. Just sit, find any footpath and just do your dhikr or whatever. Have your friend with you, chit chat with them. Okay, but don't backbite, gossip, ghiba, haram things. You're a guest of Allah. This is the dining of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Mina. So be careful about gossiping and backbiting. So anyhow, so this is so just come. He says, in case if it is too much crowded, then the only permissibility we have is that you stay in the valley of Muhassir. Valley of Muhassir is the border between Muzdalifah and Mina. Remember that overlapping area, you see? So the tents of Mina are overlapping the area of Wadi of Muhassir. So that's the part which overlaps. So if that Wadi Muhassir was from Mina, at least alhamdulillah you got the edge of the place. So that is the only place where it is permissible. It's out of Mina, but still it's permissible because the exemption came from the narration. Question number 6. Is it permissible to stay in Mina? To spend night in Mina, in a place. That word mabit means spend night. So the translator, please make sure that to use staying night in Mina, not staying in Mina. Okay, staying night in Mina. مبيت في منى. So هل يجزي المبيت في المكان الذي يشك? Is it permissible if there's a doubtful place? Okay, I don't know it's Mina or not. Can I just stay there? خلاص, Allah Rahim. So لا يجزي. No, it is not sufficient. even if you're doubting that the borders which are there, they are not accurate from some areas from the original border, you should not be staying in that area. If you doubt that this is part of Mina, I see this, the mark of Mina, green light, okay? So green board, billboard, or whatever board you call it. So if you doubt that is this the ancient or not, just go inside further. Don't just stand just under that board or just in front of the board, because there may be some expansions, and fiqh is various. So maybe Ahl Sunnah they might have in their fiqh some other exemptional cases. School of Ahl al-Bayt, they have different ways. So maybe because it's all set up based on the fiqh of our fellow Sunni school of thought. So therefore, I mean, we have to respect that, but we have to follow our rules of fiqh. It's all about following Islamic laws. Even among them, they have different maraja, Hanafi, Shafi'i, Maliki, and they have these variances in Hajj. And even we have these kind of in between our maraja. So just make sure that you are following the rules of your marja. In case of Sayyidi Sistani, if you doubt, even that you are doubting that maybe some of these borders are not according to what was there before, then you should not be staying in that area. So this is based on the doubt in the location, doubt in application. So rule says you have to stay in Mina. But application wise, Shubha al Misdaqiyya is application, the doubt in the application. Is this actually application of the rule, this place, or not? So, no, you should not be staying there. You try to choose a place where for sure that is the true application of the rule. That means it is the place where it is part of the valley of Mina. Due to the crowd and tightness, okay, in Mina, like the crowd and tightness in Mina, like a tight place or narrowness of the place. في منى ترتفع أجور السكن فيها. So sometimes in Mina, the tents, and these tents, you pay for the tents. When you go to Hajj, there's a package where you are paying the rent for the tents you are staying. Oh, I thought the tents were free. Nothing is free. You have to pay for the services of the tents and everything there. So there are levels. They're cheaper, there are moderate, they're expensive, and they're first class tents. So first class tents is like they have nice Porsche, nice restaurants, nice things, and nice that Hajj luxurious style. Is there a problem? No, because it has been narrated. Spend in Hajj as much as you want, as long as it's not considered extra. That means tabdhir, okay? You're not wasting. As long as you're spending more money to get more services, and those services you're used, first class service, that's fine. لا إسراف لا إسراف في الحج والطيب. Whatever you spend, it is not considered extravagant. In Hajj and in perfume, get proper perfume. Don't get the perfume which brings migraines to other people, okay? And some of them, they might faint down. So perfume is not related to Hajj, but the issue that you can minimize your expenses in everything and be economical person. But in Hajj, you are allowed to spend more than what you need, but as long as it should not be waste. I mean, you can stay in like a tent with with the 10 people. But no, you can spend more and you can get a tent for 2 people, 4 people. Okay. So you can get some luxurious services. That's fine. That is not considered from the extravagant expenses. But I don't need, I can stay with those 10 people. Fine. But if you would like to stay with the only 4 people or 3 people, or I don't know whether there's tent by yourself or not, solitary tent, but anyhow, I know in luxurious tents, they are less crowded than it's like hotel. You have a room for 4, you have room for 2, you pay for extra for less. So is it problem? No. Spend as long as it's not waste. Spend on food as long as you don't throw extra food. Okay, so you don't have to be tight in Hajj. Oh, it's a spiritual journey, we have to be hyperbolic Irfani people, we have to eat dry bread and this and that. No, the Sharia gave you flexibility in Hajj. Okay, spend as much as you can in your capacity, obviously, and you don't waste. The food you order, you eat it. So yeah, so the question is that due to the crowd in Mina and the tightness of the place, the rental becomes high for the tents, and it is difficult to stay in Mina on the streets because it's all packed. Or the footpath, as I said, you can stay on the footpath, but there are people, they might not be able to sit on the footpath. Maybe the authorities are not letting you stay on the footpath or sleep on the footpath. Um, or you don't want to sleep on the footpath because you feel embarrassed, you see. So due to the embarrassment, due to the authority, due to the um, any other reasons, you are not able to, especially for the women. How can they sleep on the footpath? So is it permissible for a person to spend their night, the obligatory night part, in Valley of Muhassir or in Aziziyah? Remember this side, this mountain, this is Mina, this is Aziziyah, part of Makkah. Obviously not Aziziyah. You have to stay in Mina. Okay, no matter what happens, crowd, shroud. So he says it is permissible to stay in Valley of Muhassir. Okay, Valley of Muhassir, we said, part of Muzdalifah, edge, the border of Muzdalifah and Mina, but not in the Aziziyah and so on, because this is Makkah. Aziziyah is Makkah. Question number 8. Is it permissible for women and elderly ones who are not required to pelt the stone in the eve of Eid, that they can spend some part of the time, they can stay a portion of, not the whole half night, okay, in Mina? So the questioner asked a wrong question. He said eve of 10th. Like, for example, the elderly, the sick ones, the women, the children, whatever, who cannot not stay the whole night in Muzdalifah, they can leave Muzdalifah by staying portion of the night and enter Mina. So they say, is it possible for them to stay part of the night in Mina and then go to Makkah? You see, he says there's no obligation of staying in Mina eve of 10th, eve of Eid, eve of 10th, eve of 11th and 12th. Yes, you just go to Makkah. You don't have to. You're done with Muzdalifah. Just go to Makkah. Stay in your hotel and come next day to pelt the Jamrat al-Aqaba or pelt the stone now. Okay, and you're done. Next day, come in the evening to stay in Mina. You see, so in Mina they have to pelt, or if they can't, they can pelt at night, evening. If they can't, the next day somebody can do the representation, but they have to be there in Mina with them. So the whole idea is two wajibat. Staying the eve, that's definitely not eve of 10th. Eve of 10th, like eve of Muzdalifah is in Muzdalifah, not in Mina. It's eve of 11th and eve of 12th. And pelting the stones, small, medium, large, any time, excuse me, any time from sunrise to sunset, the daytime. For School of Ahlul Bayt, they have flexible time. Majority of school of companion, they say from midday till sunset. So sunrise till sunset. These are only two and they're flexible wajibat. And you don't have to connect with each other. As I mentioned, the engineering of how you want to do, you can separate them. You can spend night and then you can come next day anytime before sunset and pelt the stones. So he said that there's no obligation of staying in Mina in the eve of Eid. That means you can go Makkah eve of Eid. After leaving Muzdalifah, you pelt your stone, okay, those excused ones, pardoned ones, then you can go immediately Makkah and relax there. Question 9. Same question, like more detail. Is it permissible for someone who's performing Hajj after performing the stay in Muzdalifah until the sunrise? You stayed in Muzdalifah until the sunrise, okay? So do you have to go in Mina or you can just go in Makkah, okay? You don't, because what is now remaining in Mina? Pelting the big stone, sacrifice, shaving or clipping of your hair. The day of Eid, you don't have to, just go to your flat, relax there, and wait until they tell you the sacrifice is done, then come to Mina. Okay, after you pelt the stone of big shaitan, go to Makkah and wait until they call you your sacrifice is done, then come to Mina to shave off your head or clip off your hair and bury the head, not bury the head, sorry, bury your hair there. Yeah. So he said, is it permissible for someone who have completed uh, the the stay in Muzdalifah, okay, until the sunrise, and instead of going to Mina, he goes to Makkah to relax and rest, and then he comes to Mina to do the rami or to do the slaughtering, the pelting of the shaitan, biggest pillar of the shaitan, and the shaving of the head before the dhuhr time he comes or after dhuhr. He says it's permissible. You don't have to. You have to do this amal before sun sets. The pelting, the sacrifice, and the shaving before sunset. So you can go Makkah, you can rest and come on Dhuhr time. Okay. But remember, your sacrifice needs to be done after pelting the big stone. So after you have pelted the big stone, then only you can sacrifice. So if you have given representation to someone to sacrifice, then my advice to you is come to Mina, pelt the big shaitan, and then go home and relax. Because sacrifice sometimes take 5 hours, 6 hours. So go and relax in your hotel until they tell you the sacrifice is done. Come Mina, shave off your head. And you don't have to come to the tent. Come to the border of Mina, inside Mina, shave off your head or clip off your hair, and then go back to Makkah. You're done for that day. And in the eve, you come back for the staying of the first night, if you're a first nighter. So he says, yes, goes to home to relax and then he comes back. He says, yes, it's permissible to go to Makkah because you don't have to stay after you have pelted the big shaitan, 7 stones. Khalas, go to Makkah, relax until you are informed that your sacrifice is done. Or you want to do by your own sacrifice, come after Dhuhr anytime, look, buy a sacrifice and slaughter it. Question number 10, and we'll stop here. Whoever performed the tawaf of Hajj and the sa'i between Safa and Marwa in the 11th day, uh, should he, after he has done his, remember, tawaf, sa'i, tawaf al-Hajj, sa'i between Safa and Marwa, and tawaf al-Nisa. But tawaf al-Nisa, he can delay it next day, third day. But just to get rid of the ihram and everything, he just wants to, the perfume, I mean. So, because he's already got rid of ihram on the day of Eid. So he says on the day of 11th, if somebody performs the tawaf, uh, tawaf and the sa'i of Hajj, should he go back to Mina to spend the whole day, remaining day in Mina, or he can stay in Makkah the remaining day, tawaf and whatever he wants to do. So he says it's not wajib to go back to Mina, okay? Because wajib is at least one half of the night. He says there is a possibility, maybe a riwayah, a narration, possibility that it's preferred to come back to Mina. But he said Mina. But he said it's not proven to me. There's a possibility that it's preferred to come back to Mina as a recommended, but it's not proven to me. This we mentioned, I'm just going to say. Question 11, is it permissible for somebody who is performing Hajj for HAJJ to spend most of the day of 10th, 11th, 12th in Makkah to relax? He says it's permissible in itself as long as you don't miss the first, at least one of the nights, half nights of Mina. As long as you don't miss the pelting of the shaitan in Mina, you don't have anything else in Mina. Just stay in Makkah, relax, do shopping, do whatever, do the shopping of Akhirat. That means go inside the Haram, spend time doing tawaf, dhikr, ibadah, spirituality. Yes, so question number 12, we will start talking about the night and the staying in the night in Mina. Okay, so we will leave it for our next session. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين.